Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be counting down the top 5 meme ideologies. The following list is comprised of oxymorons, jokes, and jokes that went too far. The two primary factors taken into account during the creation of this list were 1. The current mainstream popularity of the political ideology, and 2. The amount of contradictory, ludicrous, or otherwise illogical elements it upholds. The contents of this list were primarily decided upon by the genius minds over at the unofficial Lefty Poll Discord server, so any serious issues you have with it can be directed to the general community over there. Let's get started. Number 5. Nazbol. Otherwise known as National Bolshevism. On the internet, this ideology is essentially the love child of Stalinism and Nazism. Take the leftist economics of the former, and the rightist social stances of the latter, and you have the basic construct of Nazbol thought spread online. In reality though, National Bolshevism has stemmed from a variety of leftist movements, making itself somewhat distinct through the added touch of nationalism. The National Bolshevik Party, currently active in the Russian Federation, led by Eduard Limonov, has held a stance against the ideals of Nazism and racism, which contrasts from the growing meme revolving around the ideology online. While Nazbol is treated as somewhat of an oxymoron in its meme form, what keeps it from going anywhere higher on this list is its misrepresentation of the current stances of the sole National Bolshevik Party in Russia, as most self-proclaimed Nazbols outside of the Russian Federation are both in few numbers and mostly consisted of general leftists, ironically in it for the creation of some high-quality memes. Number 4. Anarcho-primitivism. Anarcho-primitivism is an anarchist ideology that advocates for the return to the primitive conditions that existed prior to the agricultural revolution. It is argued that the products of the agricultural revolution, such as population growth, technological addiction and dependence, specialization of labor, and other major elements of civilization, are detriments to the likes of human society and only serve as a means of oppressing both the individual and the natural world. An anarcho-primitivist society would most likely involve the abolishment of most widespread forms of technology, from computers to transportation, demolishing the means by which complex human society has operated until now. The often extreme anti-civilization stances taken by the followers of the ideology render it all but impractical and unrealistic to most. Despite there being few numbers of serious anarcho-primitivists, the mere nature of the ideology itself, coupled with its radical viewpoints, allow it to take 4th spot on this list. Number 3. Posadism. Posadism is a derivative of Trotskyism, a form of Leninist communism. Born from the ideas of Argentinian-born Homero Francelli, better known by his pseudonym J. Posadas, the ideology became well known for its outlandish viewpoints. This included a cult of personality built around its founder, justifying nuclear war as a means to construct socialism from scratch, and an attraction toward ufology and the search for extraterrestrial life as a means to help achieve communism through the assistance of aliens. Despite Posadism not spreading far outside of Latin America during its height in the 1960s due to these abnormal traits, those who adhered to the ideology were incredibly dedicated to their way of thinking. Posadist parties were some of the only Trotskyist groups in several countries at a time, and in their glory days were a surprisingly powerful force, operating in guerrilla movements within various Latin American countries. The sheer devotion of Posadism's few followers, combined with the ideology's comical tenets, bring it up to the 3rd spot on this list. Number 2. Anarcho-capitalism. Anarcho-capitalism is an ideology that argues for the abolishment of the state in favor of private ownership and deregulation of the free market. By going about these changes, anarcho-capitalists argue that through the unhinged empowerment of the free market, society will be able to self-regulate and stabilize in a way that reflects the general goals of anarchism. By name itself, anarcho-capitalism presents an oxymoron. Capitalism by nature symbolically exists with the concept of hierarchy. Bosses ordering mostly powerless workers, for example. Anarchism, on the other hand, seeks to abolish this kind of unjustified hierarchy, as in anarchist thought, those types of institutions, such as businesses and the state, propagate the oppression of various parties involved, particularly the majority of people who lie at the bottom end of the socioeconomic pyramid. This is in contrast to a justified hierarchy, which in almost all cases acts as a direct democracy or is otherwise agreed upon by the majority in a collective democratic decision. In essence, anarcho-capitalism is a completely unregulated, rigid capitalist system with business owners able to put forth any kind of condition, good or bad, unto a worker with no means of regulation by a governing body such as the state. Quitting one's job would essentially mean starvation, as all the inhabitable land around would already likely be owned by the same aristocrat whose company you just quit. Given the sheer number of serious adherents to this ideology today, anarcho-capitalism and its self-contradiction reach the second spot on this list. Number 1. Anarcho-fascism. Quite possibly one of the biggest oxymorons imaginable, I am perplexed that anything comes up for this term when it's put into a search browser. If anarcho-capitalism consists of two almost polar opposite ideologies, then anarcho-fascism is the divide by zero type of dilemma that comes up when you put two completely opposite ways of thought under one term. Anarchism, an ideology built on the idea of removing all unjust hierarchical institutions such as the state, and fascism, an ideology built on the idea that the state should exist above all else, are nothing but incompatible. Unsurprisingly, the only place where such an idea has gained any reasonable traction is nowhere but 4chan's poll and other similar image boards. Whether the reasons for this are edginess, lack of proper knowledge, or neither, it is undoubtable that the ridiculousness of this ideology far extends beyond the bounds of obscurity that surround even the likes of the previous entries on this list. For that, anarcho-fascism earns the title of top meme ideology. Thank you for watching.